Hello viewers and welcome back to episode 3 of the Zigwheels Hillclimb Challenge. Now before I start this video, let me take this opportunity to thank you, our viewers, for giving us a bunch of positive feedback, criticism and a bunch of suggestions in our previous videos. And the most common suggestion was... And guess what? We are doing a EV hill climb challenge but with a twist, because today we are doing it with a pillion rider and these are the 3 contenders. Now you guys might be wondering where's the Bajaj Chetak, and the answer is quite simple. Bajaj didn't have a media unit. Also in our previous 2 tests, it came last and the difference between it and these 3 scooters were quite significant, and the real challenge is between this trio. But for this challenge, we need a rider. That's Jehan, quite a popular face on our channel. He weighs in quite hefty at 95 odd kg. He's still not the heaviest rider, that's me. Also, we need a pillion rider. That's Nishad, the youngest rider in the Zigwheels bike team and weighs in quite lightweight at 60 odd kg. Now enough of my talking. Boys, let's start this challenge. The challenge for the scooters was simple: to clock the most miles before running out of charge. And just like our earlier hill climb test, the location for the challenge was the steep hills of Lavasa. But instead of starting from Themka Dam, we started from Farm Steed, as we wanted to charge the scooters overnight and to maintain 100% battery. All the scooters were run in sport mode to extract the maximum performance. The first scooter to start the hill climb was the TVS iQube. While it won the last test with its consistent performance, the task on its hand was more difficult with a pillion rider. It breezed past the straight road section of around 6 km till it reached the Themka Dam. Post the dam section, the climb started, and the iQube handled it with aplomb. In fact, it also managed to clock the highest top speed on the first steep section at 38 km per hour. And it also successfully made it to the top of Lavasa without any issue. Once the battery percentage dropped below 20%, performance was affected, but that was expected as the BMS went into survival mode. But despite this, it was able to do speeds around 20 kmph while climbing. As we saw in the previous hill climb, when the iQube runs out of juice, it just shuts off, and that's a bit concerning. How much kilometer did the TVS scooter manage? We will let you know later. As for pillion comfort, Nishad found the seat to be a bit too soft and he sank into it. And also the space was a bit tight given his tall frame. What he liked though was the easy to hold grab handle. Next up was the Ather 450X, which is among our favorite EVs at Zigwheels. Just like the iQube, it managed to tackle the straight sections with ease, but there was a twist in the tail. After negotiating a few sharp hairpins, the Ather overheated and Jehan had to stop the scooter. After waiting for a couple of minutes, he was able to proceed. This happened twice, and I must admit, it took me by surprise as we had never faced this issue with the Ather before. However, the Ather was able to complete the test and it even managed to clock the highest range. According to Jehan, the Ather 450X was the best scooter among the trio with respect to dynamics and fun factor. He was not only able to carry good corner speeds, the sharp brakes allowed him to carry good momentum while coming downhill. As for Nishad, he liked the firm seat that offered him good support, and he particularly liked the integrated foot peg that made the ergonomics very comfortable. The stability of the scooter meant he felt the safest around corners on the Ather. And finally, it was time for the Ola S1. Since a lot of you guys felt that it was a mistake to run the scooter in eco mode in our previous challenge, we ran it in sport mode for the pillion test. And the results were equally disappointing.
Ola's overheated. We are waiting for it to cool down.
The Ola was easily the fastest scooter out of the trio, but when the going got tough, the Ola crumbled under pressure. In this case, the load on the motor while going uphill, just like the Ather, the S1 Pro overheated and went into eco mode automatically while going uphill.
Reduced performance.
Jehan couldn't ride it in eco mode and we had to switch off the scooter and let it cool down. But while we only spent a couple of minutes on the Ather for it to cool down, the Ola took around 15 to 20 minutes. And when we started, it could only cover 2 kilometers before shutting down again. This kept on repeating and
Arun, the Ola has shut down once again. This is what, the 6th or the 7th time. I don't know how many times it's overheated and shut. I'm tired. Nishad is also tired. What should we do now?
Jan, stop the test. Head back to base.
Okay, chalo. Okay, copy.
When we called off the test, the Ola still had 48% charge on reserve. As for Nishad, he didn't enjoy the ride quality of the scooter as he felt the bumps on rough roads and the rubber-mounted grab rails felt flimsy. What he liked though was the spacious pillion seat and ergonomics. And now, time for the verdict. Now the results are quite surprising and I'm pretty sure even you guys are surprised. My personal bet was on the Ola because it has the highest battery capacity, it is clearly the quickest scooter, and even in our previous 2 tests it clocked the highest range. But the Achilles heel of the Ola was its battery management system. We had to stop and wait for 20 odd minutes for the motor to cool down, post which it was able to clock 2 kilometers before the problem occurred again. And because of that, we had to stop the test. So although it had 48% of battery in reserve, it could only manage 22 odd kilometers. So if you are living in the hilly areas and have a pillion, this is a no-go. What works for the Ola is the pillion comfort. The seats are nice, but the suspension is on the firmer side and we could feel a lot of rattles in the body panel. Now moving on to the Ather 450X. It's quite a popular scooter among Zigwheels, but in this challenge it clocked the highest range of 37.4 kilometers. So you guys might think this is the winner, but that's not the case. The thing is, just like the Ola, the Ather also struggled on the steep inclines and even we had to stop the scooter and let it cool down. But unlike the Ola, we didn't have to wait for 20 odd minutes but just a couple of minutes before it could proceed again. But although it clocked the highest range, we had to stop and it wasn't a single run. Drop it. The winner for us is the iQube. Although it didn't clock as much as kilometer as the Ather, but what the iQube delivered was consistency. It did the whole hill climb in one go. Granted, the temperature when the iQube did was a couple of degrees lower, but the TVS iQube soldiered on. So the iQube, in our opinion, is the clear winner. So if you guys are living in the hilly areas and have a pillion, the iQube is your best bet. Oi, what are you doing over here?